The first enhancement I'm going to show you regarding the GIS, Geographical Information System, is that when it comes to your imagery. Now, for those that missed out on last year's launch, the GIS in the root menu, go down to GIS, and in a subcolumn, you first have to tell Caddie your CRS. Now, that's your coordinate reference system. So for this exercise, I'm going to make use of Pretoria, picks up in Gauteng. I'm going to say OK. And now the projection I'm going to use is 2053. Now that will be a flat projection. First of all, Caddie will ask me what will be the radius that I'm going to look at in Pretoria. It's going to be 5 kilometers. I'm going to say yes. So now we're going to activate the source. If I go to my source command, those are the sources that I've already loaded. Now the last one, as I move my pointer over that last source, Caddie will tell me my type is an ArcGIS image, and then there's a URL link involved to this command. So as you can see, it's a Tshwane.gov. So from your local municipality, you can add this as well. If I just right click, add data source, and I've made use of the ArcGIS image service, and I've pasted the link. So I'm going to refresh the link. So if I click on the refresh button, now I will see that Caddie will refresh that 5 kilometer radius of my Pretoria image. And if you just pan here slightly to the side, there you can see there's a union building. And it doesn't matter where you're going to zoom in. As soon as you're going to click on the refresh, you will see that it will refresh the tiles. And as you can see, the quality is quite good. Another enhancement is if I go to a second drawing. Now in this exercise, I made use of a shapefile, but it can be MySQL database information as well. Is that if I go for my information, and I'm going to indicate, in this case, Earth area, Caddie picks up the information because it comes from the shapefile or from the database file. I'm going to ask Caddie, there's certain things I would like to write back onto the drawing. So the command, and that this is where the enhancement comes in, is that there's an option that says write properties on drawing. So if I click on the pencil, Caddie picks up the information on the left hand side. That's exactly the same as in the dialog itself, and you can select what you would like to write in that area. So the first exercise, I'm going to switch off the GIS area, only the farm earth number. So I'm going to say OK, and Caddie will ask me indicate position for text. I'm going to zoom in and I can place my text. Remember, this text settings is linked to your normal text settings. Now Caddie asks me for indicate a feature to query. I indicate this area. Once again, I only want to write the farm earth number, and I can place it, say for instance, bottom right hand side. So that's if you want to do them individually. If you would like to write the information to the whole area, now that is when it's set apply to entire layer. So if I'm going to switch that on, and I would like to add additional information, so let's say I want to add my GIS area as well, then both those information is going to write onto my layer. So if I'm going to say OK, now that's similar if you make use of scope. So as you can see, if I zoom out or if I zoom in, now it gives me my number as well as my GIS area. And then you can go even another step further. Now I can write from my information onto my drawing. But what if you would like to add your own, the survey contractor, you would like to add it to the properties. So now I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm going to go back to my data source. I'm going to right click, and you'll see this option that says manage North Cape. Now it's giving me all my properties in the list. And then at the bottom, I'm going to ask Caddie add row. So if I'm going to scroll down, then I'm going to say on the left hand side, say survey contractor. And then next to it, but we're going to make use of bar chart. That is for variable characters. And then my length, I'm going to set that to say 50. So I'm going to say OK. Now you will see that if I'm going to go to information in a specific area at the bottom, now you will see that now there's another one added. And I can say in this case, it will be shall. And I say save. So if I close my information, go back to information, click on that area, then it shows survey contractor shall. For the users that's familiar with the GIS, and by popular demand, they ask to place the content at the correct set height. I'm going to go to a new drawing, and I'm just going to set my CRS to Bristol in the UK. I'm going to say OK, and my projection I'm going to use is 27,700. I'm going to say OK. And Caddie will ask me what's going to be the area. So for this exercise, I'm just going to make it 1 kilometer because then we can zoom out, just speed up the process. Then what I'm going to focus on while it's refreshing is that under my data source, if I go to my Bristol, UK, you will see that if I go to my settings, the first enhancement is use polylines for closed objects. So if I move my pointer over use polylines for closed objects, Caddie will tell you, closed objects can either be created as closed 2D polylines or AEC polygons. And then I'm going to ask Caddie to set the height from the property. Now, because this is a MySQL database, Caddie picks up from that settings that there's 3 fields. Now, I'm going to make use of a field elevation to place it at the correct Z height. So once my properties are set, I'm going to say OK, and then I'm going to refresh the area. As I refresh, it displays my contours, and let's stick to the top part first. So let me just close this dialog as I'm going to go to the information. Now, I don't have to make use of the GiS information. If I'm going to select on a contour at the moment, in my object properties, you will see that my elevation is 15.25. And if I select the next elevation, that will be 15.5. So there's a 0.25 meters difference between each contour line. And then as soon as I'm going to orbit it, as you can see, my contours is definitely at the different Z heights. Let's face it from the front. There you can see it very clearly. The contours come in at different heights.